Welcome to Sportsnight, and Davis, we hosted the first show of this quarter and we are back now. It's felt like it's been quite a long time.
Yeah, like you said, we hosted the first show of this spring quarter, and it's felt like it's been forever, but we're so glad to be back in the studio with you all. It's Sports Night right now.
Welcome back to Sports Night. I'm Matthew Coronado alongside Davis Johnson. And Davis, there has been a lot in Northwestern athletics this past week. There's been softball, field hockey, lacrosse, and of course the WNUR underclassmen versus upperclassmen flag football game.
And yes, like you said, so glad to be part of the winning team for the WNUR football game. The underclassmen defeated the upperclassmen 49-42. Like I said, so glad to be part of the winning team in that game. It's safe to say both you and I had busy weekends. And speaking of busy weekends, Northwestern softball was busy this past weekend as they hosted the Illinois Fighting Illini at the J. You know, coming into April, everyone was thinking, can anybody stop this Northwestern offense? They're 18-2 and averaging almost 7 runs per game. But since then, they've faced Minnesota, Iowa, and Michigan, all of which have dominant pitching staffs. Since then, Northwestern has gone 4-8 and have averaged barely over 3.5 runs a game. Let's see if they can get their bats going against Sidney Sickles and another great Illinois pitching staff. After losing 3 out of 4 to 20th-ranked Michigan, the Cats look to pick up some steam at home against Sidney Sickles and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Illinois took Game 1 on Friday, defeating the Wildcats 4-2. The Fighting Illini used a 3-run fourth inning to gain control and never look back. Sidney Sickles turned in a complete game performance, allowing 6 hits and 2 earned runs. In the first game of Saturday's doubleheader, Northwestern won a thrilling contest 7-6 to even the series. The Cats were down 6-3 heading into the bottom of the 6th inning, but scored 4 unanswered runs to win the game. Morgan Newport was the hero for the Cats, going 2 for 3 with 1 walk and 3 RBI, including an RBI triple in the third and a walk-off 2-run blast off Sidney Sickles in the bottom of the 7th. In Game 2 of the doubleheader, the Cats were edged out by a score of 3-4. Sidney Supley made the start in the circle for Northwestern, and after giving up 2 runs in the first inning, was in command for most of the game, throwing all 7 innings. Rachel Lewis led off with a solo home run in the first inning, and Morgan Newport smacked a 2-run homer into the right field bleachers to give NU the lead in the third inning. However, Illinois first baseman Kaylee Powell hit a go-ahead 2-run homer with 2 outs in the 7th to give the Fighting Illini a lead it would not relinquish, as Sidney Sickles appeared in relief in the bottom of the 7th to strike out Angela Zedak with bases loaded to slam the door on the Cats. In Sunday's finale, Northwestern won 6-3 to split the weekend series. Danielle Williams turned in her best outing of the weekend, throwing a complete game, allowing 6 hits and 3 earned runs, while striking out 10. The Fighting Illini did all their damage in the first inning, thanks to a 3-run homer off the bat of third baseman Delaney Rommel. NU's Hannah Cady was the main catalyst for Northwestern offense. The freshman tallied an RBI double in the second inning, and followed that up with a solo shot in the third. Northwestern will be on the road in West Lafayette as they face the Purdue Boilermakers in the second-to-last series of the regular season.
The Northwestern lacrosse team looks to cap their undefeated season in winning the Big Ten championship against the number 2 seeded Maryland Terrapins. Let's see if they could get it done. The Northwestern women's lacrosse team was in action this past Sunday in the Big Ten championship against number 2 seeded Maryland. It was a huge day for Izzy Skane, who had 9 goals on the day, which was good for tying the conference record for most goals scored in a single tournament game. She also notched her 81st goal of the season, which only 5 other Big Ten players have done so in Big Ten history. Other players, Lindsey McCone and Brennan Dwyer, also had 2 goals on the game, contributing to the Wildcats' offense. But early on, the outcome was uncertain, as the Maryland Terrapins took a 5-1 lead, but it was erased by halftime when the score was 7-7. And then early in the second half, the Skane train left the station as she notched 2 early goals. But the Maryland Terrapins weren't done. They went on a 3-0 run of their own, but between Dwyer and Skane, they went on a 3-0 run of their own to finish this one up and put them up by 5 goals, which was the second slimmest margin of victory that the Wildcats have had. Nonetheless, they win this game, they win the Big Ten championship, and now they set their eyes on winning the NCAA tournament this upcoming week. The next time we see the Northwestern lacrosse team will be in the NCAA tournament.
Since Northwestern baseball was sidelined this past weekend, this Dingers package is going to be a little bit shorter. But as the saying goes, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Roll the Dingers. Let's get right into Game 2 action here. Maeve Nelson working at Sydney Sickles. That ball is driven deep to the opposite field, and that ball finds a home in the right field bleachers. The wind is blowing strongly all day that way, and Maeve Nelson takes advantage of her 4th homer of the year. And then same game, bottom 7th, 2 outs. Newport gets a high fastball, clangs it off the center field scoreboard for a 2-run walk-off shot for Northwestern to tie the series. Newport started the game in their circle for Northwestern and wins it with her bat. On to Game 2 of the doubleheader. Northwestern ended the last game with a bang. This one starts with a bang. Rachel Lewis, deep center field off Addie Jarvis. Jalen Vicker going back, and she cannot get that ball as that goes off center field wall, and Rachel Lewis starts the game with a bang. Then same game, Newport again in the 3rd inning. Her back-to-back games, back-to-back home runs for the senior for Northwestern. That ball sneaks into the right field bleachers. Now on to Sunday for Northwestern. The freshman, Hannah Cady. High fastball from Sydney Sickles. She knows what to do with it. That ball sneaks over the right center field wall for the freshman's first career home run. And then to top it off, Rachel Lewis again. Back-to-back games, back-to-back homers. That ball off the left field wall, off Welsh Ryan Arena, and Northwestern ties the series with Illinois. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we have Tyler Haskins recapping the NFL draft for Northwestern and our new favorite segment, Anchor's Choice.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Cheer you all the go.
Go you Northwestern, fight for the sweet victories, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Welcome back to Sportsnight, and Matt, I want to revisit that WNUR Sports flag football game. The underclassmen took the W, 49-42, and I want to ask you, who were the most impressive players in that game, and what were your main takeaways?
Well, the defensive standout has to be our very own Ryan Shea. He drew comparisons to Greg Newsome, the recent draftee for Northwestern. Michael Bartholomew stepped in at quarterback for the underclassmen at one point. He was looking like Tom Brady in the pocket. And, of course, our also very own Pat Timlin on the losing team of the upperclassmen choked under the pressure in the last drive and was unable to score a touchdown to lead them to the victory. Sorry, Pat. Better luck next time.
What a shame.
What a shame. But speaking of great athletes, our own Tyler Haskins recapped the NFL draft and some of the Northwestern Wildcats who were involved in the event.
Hey everyone's Tyler Haskins. Welcome back to another edition of Draft Wrap. This week we're going to be wrapping up the wrap as we take a look at all the Northwestern prospects and where they were either drafted or who they signed with after this past week's NFL draft.
For Northwestern, night one of the draft got kicked off with a bang. There's not one, but two. Count them, 2 players went in the first round. Rashawn Slater going 13th overall to the Los Angeles Chargers, and Greg Newsome going 26th overall to the Cleveland Browns. Slater, a very tough, versatile, and physical offensive lineman for the Chargers, and Greg Newsome, a very competitive and physical lockdown corner to have on the perimeter. Both of these franchises got themselves some steals in the first round. In round 4, the Los Angeles Rams selected Northwestern defensive lineman Ernest Brown IV. Now, Ern is a great guy to have on the edge as a defensive end, to be able to rush the passer and get some pressure on the quarterback, but also to fill the trenches and get nasty down there and stopping the run as well. So 4 former Wildcats would get drafted in this year's NFL draft, but many other former Wildcats would sign post-draft as undrafted free agents. Now, both J.R. Pace and John Raines signed with the Atlanta Falcons. J.R. Pace, a Georgia boy himself, very physical safety to get downhill, make some tackles, and also play great coverage back in the post. John Raines is a heck of a pass and run blocker, and a great pass catcher as well. He can do a lot when the ball's in his hand. So the Falcons got themselves some hard-nosed guys here. Former offensive tackle for the Wildcats, Gunnar Vogel, stays in Chicagoland as he signs with Chicago Bears. Very physical pass and run blocker, great protector, whether he's on the front side or on the back side to protect the blind side of the quarterback. So a great steal here for the Bears. Riley Lees is the ultimate athlete. The former high school quarterback will play receiver and punt returner as well as kick returner for the Wildcats. Hopefully he can do the same as he signs with the Cincinnati Bengals and gives them a big spark to their offense as well as their special teams. Former Wildcat captains Patty Fisher and Peyton Ramsey, the linebacker and quarterback, respectively, both signed with the Carolina Panthers. Patty Fisher, very physical linebacker to have there in the box, fill the trenches, and stop the run. Also a great guy in zone to be able to help with the pass. And most importantly, just a heck of a leader as he was in all of his years at Northwestern. Peyton Ramsey the same way in his 1 year at Northwestern. A great leader, just a field general, and can do a lot when the ball's in his hands. A playmaker, and the Panthers got themselves some great guys. One of the other members of the law firm, Blake Gallagher, would sign with the Baltimore Ravens. A very physical guy, be able to get in the trenches and into the box and stop the run. And he's a very blue-collar type guy that the Ravens are going to love. He'll do whatever you need him to do to win. And finally, receiver Ramad Jaquiel Bowman signs with the Indianapolis Colts. Guy who knows the state of Indiana pretty well, as he had a hat trick of receiving touchdowns against Purdue in 2020 and has played in Indianapolis 2 times already in the Big Ten Championship. A great big receiver to have on the outside. The Colts got themselves a dude here.
That'll do it for Draft Wrap. Thank you once again. I'm Tyler Haskins. Back to you.
Thanks, Tyler, for that great NFL draft recap. Now shifting our attention to the field hockey team, Northwestern looks to keep their season alive against a Big Ten rival in the NCAA tournament. The Northwestern women's field hockey team took on a familiar rival in the Iowa Hawkeyes this past Sunday in the NCAA quarterfinals. The game started hot for Iowa with a goal scored by Sierra Smith and assisted by Sophie Strebos, but was quickly answered by Bente Bakers with her 15th goal on the season, notching the game at 1. Maddie Murphy and Loke Strebos each scored a goal for the Iowa Hawkeyes, bringing their total to 3, and that's how the game would end, with a final score of 3-1 in the Hawkeyes' favor, thereby bringing an end to the Northwestern women's field hockey season at a record of 12-6.
And now for a new favorite segment on this show, Anchor's Choice. Northwestern Athletics has been in the press a lot recently, and it's safe to say a lot of it hasn't been exactly good press. We should be talking about this lacrosse team, how good they've been, how dominant their offense has been, how Izzy Skate may be one of the best lacrosse players of all time in college, and how she's on her quest to win a Tewaaraton Award. And Northwestern may be on their way to be winning their 8th national championship as a program. But instead, we're talking about Mike Plisky and his controversial promotion to the athletic director of Northwestern Athletics. At the protest, a lot of people were speaking up on their minds. Faculty, students, former cheerleaders, athletes, you name it. I just have one thing to say. Where's the transparency? No explanation has been made as why he was promoted to be athletic director. Nothing has been made or said about the allegations against him, the racism and sexual abuse within the cheerleading department. Where is the transparency from the leadership? This university is supposed to be educating the world's next great leaders, but Northwestern Athletics is failing in the leadership department.
Spring quarter is not even over yet, but I'm looking forward to the fall football season. Northwestern has made notable pickups in prospects and transfers, one of which being Jeffrey Pooler Jr., a defensive end out of West Virginia who's recorded 5.5 sacks and 11 tackles for loss in his 2 seasons with the program. While those numbers might not sound outstanding, he'll have the most sacks out of any active Wildcat on the roster this year. Jordan Mosley, a wide receiver from the Chicagoland area, is a huge pickup for this Wildcat team. He's a 4-star recruit and will be filling in as the highest prospect since Garrett Dickerson, a superback from 2013. And also, on the defensive side of the ball, Mac Uline, a linebacker also from the Chicagoland area. He's the number 1 prospect according to Rivals in Illinois. Pat Fitzgerald has never signed a number 1 prospect in the state of Illinois, so it's a first for him. Mac has amazing sideline-to-sideline speed, and he's got the size to fill in for the leaving Patty Fisher and Blake Gallagher.
And now for Sportsnight Classic, Plays of the Week. Roll the tapes.
Starting off at number 3, Izzy Skane makes a move towards the goal, spins to the left, back right, and a great goal into the upper right corner.
This play is so good, we had to show you it twice. Morgan Newport, bottom of the 7th, 2 outs to tie the series against Illinois. That ball is driven deep to center field, and that ball is off the scoreboard and gone. What a day for Morgan Newport. 2 home runs in the 2 doubleheader games, including that walk-off right there. She also started this game in the pitching circle, but she wins this game with her bat.
And at number 1, it's Lindsey McCone with this behind-the-back goal in the Big Ten Championship. What a move.
And that'll do it for us here at Sportsnight. Make sure to check us out on Twitter at NNN Sports. You can watch the rest of our shows on YouTube at NNN Sports as well. For Matthew Coronado, I'm Davis Johnson. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.